Good morning, Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. Welcome to, I have been dubbing this Season 2, Episode 1 of the NFR Hangover. We are so excited to be back, you guys. We were kind of somewhat forced into doing something like this last year, and maybe we had a little bit of fun with it also, but you guys are not going to want to miss today's pregame broadcast. Stay tuned. All right, so I am back. As you may know, Tony Branquinho is going to be co-hosting with us today. Poor Jim Boy. I saw a thing on Facebook from him this morning commenting how there's only one security station going through DIA through Denver, and I'm guessing that he maybe got delayed.
Yeah, I saw that too. I have a feeling Jim Boy and his Jim Boyisms was probably really making life a little harder on the TSA agent than they really wanted.
He's having fun with them. It's fun.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He has fun. They may not be enjoying it as much, but he was having fun with them. But yeah, he said there was one security station open, and that's just in the holiday season. It seems like a bad time to remodel the airport.
Honestly, I swear DIA is under construction every time we go there. So I don't think it's just this holiday season.
It's just 24/7, 365. They're always under construction.
Yes. So for those of you guys that are joining us, thank you so much. For those that are new, also, we appreciate that. Get this. So I did a little ad on Facebook. You never know how they're going to work. We have at least 60 new followers on Bullfrog Creatives just in the last 2 days. So I want to welcome those new followers and welcome y'all that haven't been here since last year during the NFR. So a little bit of background on where NFR Hangover came from. Jim Boy Hash posted something on Facebook. You got to love social media for this. Posted something on Facebook last year about there needs to be a morning show so we can all BS about what just happened. And I was like, hey, I can do that. Let's do it. And so we did. And of course, he came up with this catchy name of the NFR Hangover. And I feel like those that are there can relate because they probably actually do have a hangover. But if y'all remember back in the day, they didn't air, for those of us that don't get to go, they did not air the NFR until it started at 9. So if you stayed up, by the time you got to the 5th round and you've been staying up watching the NFR, you wake up and go to work and feel like you have a hangover. So that is where the name came from, not necessarily from the drinking, but from just having to work and stay up late, which, I mean, we're not getting any younger. So
no, and I remember
it gets harder.
It'd come on ESPN at 9 o'clock and you'd watch it for 2.5 hours. And they say by round 5 or 6, you're just like, okay, I got to watch a bull riding. I got to stay up. But the next day it was just like, okay, it feels like my head is in a vice and like I've been out in Vegas partying. And you have the hangover without the fun of getting up to the hangover part.
Of being there. And I don't know. I always wanted to stay up and watch the barrel racing. And inevitably, I never made it. Like I would fall asleep by the calf roping. So I'm way happier with the programming we have now with Cowboy Channel. It's super, super easy to watch. So Tony, we're not going to go right into the NFR conversation. So if you guys are in Vegas, you know there's a ton of different things going on. It used to be you go to Vegas in December for the NFR, and that's completely changed. We have some good friends that put together a Diamonds in the Desert horse sale during the same week. There's what else? You were kind of naming off a ton of different things.
You've got the junior NFR, the junior world qualifiers, the all-in breakaway roping and barrel racing, Vegas toughest. I mean, they have just made this to where it's inclusive and they bring the whole family in. I mean, you've got, 12 and under breakaway and tie down roping, team roping, barrels, poles. They brought all the events in. Vegas has done a good job of, Vegas is not really known for being, family place you take your family, but during the NFR, those 10 days, you want to have your family there. They open it up and they've done a great job putting these events together and they're paying the payout is amazing. And like I said, I've got some nieces and nephews that are back there and some really good friends. And this is a bucket list item for a lot of kids, to go and get to compete back there in Vegas and be at the world's toughest, Vegas toughest. And it's impressive how we can have so many events and they all pay good and they're all inclusive. They're all having back number ceremonies. They're giving them jackets, and they're making it feel like they're qualifying for the finals, and that is huge right now because it's special. It's special. This might be the pinnacle for some of those kids' rodeo careers, and they get to do it. It's really impressive what's going on in Vegas right now, all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we add our guest in, I want to make sure that we thank some special sponsors. Of course, Jim Boy, although he's not here, I will give him a shout out. Hopefully he can make it tomorrow. Jim Boy is coaching at Garden City Community College, so we also give a shout out to them. And then this platform has a partnership. Bullfrog Creatives has a partnership with Cinch Jeans and Shirts, so we give a shout out to them and thank them. And then also, because I'm in charge and this is the way it goes, I'm going to put a shout out to my aunt and uncle who, listen, not just because they're my aunt and uncle, but Con Williams Art Studio. They're going to be set up at, I think it's like the Ranchers. I don't know. There's so many different shopping venues. I'll have more information, but they'll be there next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with their artwork. My uncle is college rodeoed, so there's a tie to our platform, but we won't hold it against him. He did college rodeo at Casper College, but then he went to Montana State. It's been a family battle ever since I became a Grizz. So I have to put that plug in there, but check him out at consart.com. And then also look up Williams Studio, Con Williams Studio on Facebook. If you guys like authentic Western bronze work and bronzes, this is the place to go. He was a saddle bronc rider. I know, I don't know. I'm biased clearly, but some of his pieces are so detailed. He's got kids pieces. He's got a steer wrestler, which was kind of detailed after a picture of my dad bulldogging at the daddy of them all at Cheyenne Frontier Days. So it's a super cool piece. Yeah. There's some really great stuff. He's got a lot of wildlife pieces. So there you go. Consart.com and look him up on Facebook. What's that?
My wife's gonna watch a replay of this after she gets done teaching, and you just cost me a lot of money. Thanks, Heidi, because she loves.
Maybe you can get a family discount.
Yes, I love it. That's so cool, though.
Anyways, I got to get that in. They're going to be in Vegas. If y'all are in Vegas, they're going to be there next week. So we will actually have a special edition sometime during the day so we can check out some of their art after the NFR Hangover. So I will keep you guys in the loop on that one. So we have a special guest this morning, Miss Hadley Furnival, who is from Casper, Wyoming, but is actually in Vegas right now to compete at the Vegas Toughest, which is one of those ones that you just talked about. So I'm going to bring her in. Listen, our faces are going to be real narrow, but bear with us here. Hadley, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know that this early morning camera photo op was not probably on your schedule, but we appreciate you joining us.
It's no problem.
All right. So I am really interested because clearly I will speak for Tony with this as well. They didn't have this kind of stuff when we were rodeoing, when we were doing high school rodeo. I mean, maybe they had a couple different options if you didn't qualify for the high school finals, but there really weren't other things. I mean, there was National Little Britches, which isn't really as big in Wyoming as it is in some other states. So we were really limited. And I think it's, talk to me about the opportunity, this opportunity, and maybe other opportunities that you guys have had to rodeo elsewhere.
Okay. So the way this works is they have jackpots and then so you can just rope in the jackpot, but then you can pay an extra side pot fee, and it puts you in the side pot to qualify for this.
Okay.
You have the option to qualify or not, and then depending on how big the jackpot is, they can usually take 10 to 12 qualifiers.
Oh my gosh.
So it's really
this is with Vegas Toughest. You it's not like cumulative points or anything. You can qualify out of the jackpot you're at and automatically qualify for Vegas.
Yep.
Oh,
and so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so they'll have strictly jackpots for the qualifiers, so that that you get the right level of competition. But usually it works out pretty good. And then the way the Vegas deal works, you can only qualify once and only go one time, but with a lot of other youth deals, you can go, especially in the breakaway, you can go 3 or 4 times.
So do they have the jackpots throughout the year, or is there one set time? This is the jackpot that you can qualify in?
They have them throughout the year. I went down to Torrington in, I think, maybe August and qualified. And then last year or the year before when I went down to Tulsa, I qualified in Gillette at the Energy Capital. So
Okay. And then when you guys are down there, what events are you participating in for this? Is it all rodeo events or is it just timed events?
So at the Vegas Toughest Deal, it's strictly just timed events. And then they have like 6 or 7 different age groups. So they go from all the way down from 12 and under or 10 and under all the way up to 19 and under.
Okay.
So they just have a bunch of different age groups. And then I'm just competing in the breakaway and the barrels.
Okay. Perfect.
What's the format for you for the event? How many head is it? How many runs is it? Is it a short round? Is it a one header? What's the format and how do you ultimately win the championship?
So the way it works is they have 2 full rounds, and then they bring the top 15 back in the average, and then they have a hot round. And so what you want to do is you want to get qualified for the hot round because that's where it pays the best. So how you get qualified for the hot round is if you're the top 2 in the first 2 full rounds, and then they bring the fastest time in the short round, and then the top 5 or 6 in the average back to the hot round, and then it's just a one head there.
It's a one header for the big money.
Yeah. Yep. Then that's like the championship.
Yep.
Very cool. So
now
go ahead.
Are they having this event? Are they having this event out at Horseman's Park?
No, it's at the Expo World Center.
Okay.
World Market, yeah.
World Market.
Okay.
So when do you compete? Like when does everything get started? I know I saw some pictures. You all got your back numbers. Was that yesterday?
Yep.
Okay.
So we got our back numbers yesterday, and they do like a big ceremony, and they Calcutta you off, and then award the best dressed. And then, so today it'll start with some of the age groups. I can't remember, like the 15 and under girls breakaway today, so we can go watch, so the 19 and under girls can go watch the calves that they'll rope. And then I don't know who all else goes today. 15 and under boys tie down. I know we have some Wyoming kids in that. And then the 19 and under girls go tying is today too, and we got some girls in that as well.
Very cool.
Now, do you run like you say it's two full rounds and then the short round? Now, so when you compete, will you run both your calves in the short round in the same day?
No, so I'll compete on the 3rd and the 5th. And so the 3rd I go at one time, and then they'll run it the same order of events. They'll just run it in reverse order on the 5th.
Okay, so you don't. It's not a traditional jackpot. It's more like a finals where you rope one day and then one another, and then you just move up the chain to get to the hot round.
Yep.
So then when is the hot round? When will you, like, when's the final night?
So the hot round, so they'll do the short round, like with all the average leaders, and the hot round on the same day, and that'll be on the 6th.
Okay. All right, cool. So before I let you go, what are your predictions? Do you have any predictions for the NFR?
I bet Haley Kinsel wins some barrels again.
I feel like that's a really, really safe prediction. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Emily, but that's just because she was on our platform last year. So, and Chongo loves that arena. So, I don't know. Well, hey, Hadley, I would love to catch back up with you after you, or at least have your mom text me and let me know how you did and what your results are. And we'll be sure to give you a shout out. But good luck and have fun.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Good luck.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So, like we already talked about, so many different opportunities than what we had, but so many benefits too. I mean, to get to that level. And I will say, although Vegas Toughest doesn't have timed events, or rough stock, there are some other junior events that do have rough stock. And I feel like those types of events are going to be what kind of builds the rough stock back up to where it used to be.
I agree. I think the junior NFR, it's going to help rebuild the foundation for our rough stock events for sure. And like I said, it's just very impressive what all these associations have done to keep the youth involved and keep our Western lifestyle and our way of life out there and keep it thriving, because these kids, like I say, I remember when I high school rodeoed out here in California, it's a district, and we had 8 rodeos a year in state finals, and then you hope to qualify for nationals and maybe a few junior rodeos. Now we went, I think we went like 12 or 10 out of 14 weekends in a row with my daughter this summer to some jackpot, doing something. And I wanted to rodeo that hard, I'd have bought my card and got back in shape a long time ago. But no, it's awesome that these kids have these opportunities, and the parents are taking the kids and giving them these experiences, because like I said, it's experiences that'll last a lifetime that these kids will cherish and remember.
Well, and I think personally, when I watched the NFR as a kid and even in college, I was like, oh, look at them. It never crossed my mind that I could be them.
Right.
And so when you create this level of competition at that age, then I don't know, it just gives them the confidence to know that, like, yes, you can do it too.
Well, you're building that foundation that they can do it, and they're going to watch, and these kids, as they go along, be it 12 and under, 10 and under, all the way up to 19 and under, hey, so-and-so that I competed against and was very competitive against is making the NFR. I can do it. If that's what I really want, I can do it. I can put the time in, put the effort in. And like I say, it just builds that foundation and that confidence, and that's what these youth events are doing, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
First, let's talk about, I actually went back and watched some of last season because it was different. I mean, we were at a completely different venue. It was all new, which really was a lot of what we talked about. So I am kind of interested to see if any changes have been made on the part of, on the side of Vegas, because I know there were a lot of things that Cowboys and Cowgirls contestants and fans really liked that happened in Texas. Do you think there's going to be anything or any changes, or is there even room for any changes?
I don't know if there's room for changes. I know that I was watching the pre-show, or my daughter was watching the pre-show with the barrel racing. I think they're hand raking, and I truly think they need to take a little bit of time and drag at least halfway through. I would do it after 5. What's another 10 minutes? I know they're on a time crunch to get people in and out of there, but I really wish they could figure out a way to do something for those barrel horses, because you've got the 15 most high-powered barrel horses in the world. I would like to see them put a little more thought into not just the contestant, but the animal contestant too on that side. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that besides the hand rake. But I do think there's a lot of guys that made their first, and girls that made their first NFR qualification last year, and it was in Arlington, and it was amazing. But they're going to get to feel the excitement when they ride down that tunnel to Thomas and Mack and feel 19,000 people and that energy. Because that was the one thing I did hear when I talked to some of the contestants, is Globe Life was so big that you were in there, but it was the NFR, but you couldn't feel that energy. You couldn't feel the crowd. That Thomas and Mack, they're on top of you, and it's going to be electric in there. And I think we're going to see some amazing rodeo here in the next 10 days because of being back inside that building.
Well, and just the excitement. I mean, there is something to be said about having the crowd so close to you. I mean, it literally feels like they're right on top of you. And when you can hear that and feel that, energy, but feel that electricity in the room, your horse feels it, you feel it, it changes everything. And even though everybody liked the space that Globe Life provided, I think that there's going to be more excitement here at Vegas.
That excitement. That excitement's going to be there. Oh, that excitement's going to be there. I know, and I remember when we talked to Emily last year about the barrel race. I mean, those barrel racers, they loved having that room back there. They could move their horses. They're not just coming down that alley. So it's kind of that give and take. You're coming back to the Thomas and Mack. You're back in the building. You've got that excitement, but you've lost that room you had. I mean, it's a give and take, but I think it's going to be outstanding just because we're back in Vegas. And like I said, we're going to have 19,000 people blowing the roof off the Thomas and Mack. When Viva Las Vegas hits tonight, I bet you that place erupts, and it's gonna be the loudest pop that building's ever heard. I would be willing to bet.
So we have a comment, we have a few comments. CJ says, good morning. Stacy Elias Martin says that there's no comparison between Arlington and Vegas. I would agree. Arena setup is completely different. Like for those girls that ran last year for their first time and now they're coming to Vegas, it's going to be a completely different game plan. And I would say completely different for everyone. You know, the barrier is going to be set different. The buck and shoots are going to be set different. They're going to buck different. It's going to be a smaller setup. So, I mean, I think you're right, Stacy. Is that, I mean, correct me in the comments if you were meaning something else, but it really is going to be a completely different show.
Oh, it's for sure. It's going to be a completely different show, completely different atmosphere, feeling. And you've got multiple time qualifiers that know what it's like to be in that building because they've been there plenty of times. But you've got, second time qualifiers. Arlington was our first NFR experience. So this is like being an NFR rookie all over again. It's a whole new experience. And so that's going to be fun to watch and see how it plays out. I'm just thinking like in the team rope, when you had Peyton Bray last year, who wins the average with Eric Rogers in the team rope, but it's going to be a whole different setup, a whole different, the game plan he had last year is going to be different than this year because it's a whole different venue. And not that they were just ones that came to mind. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But like I said, I think these Cowboys and Cowgirls are excited to be back in Las Vegas. And I know Vegas is excited to have them back.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Keith Buckler says you're pretty.
Thank you, Keith. I work on it.
We'll take all the compliments.
Yeah.
So one more thing that is near and dear to my heart, but I always watch is the more of the production side. I did the openings production manager for almost 10 years for the CNFR and loved it. I love what they did last year in Arlington, telling the stories, bringing the audience in and like right away and capturing them in that opening. And there's been tons of conversation, even at the college level, about changing the opening and not doing that and doing it more Vegas style. And then we saw the NFR go back to CNFR style. And so are we going to see them keep that? There was so much conversation around it. Like what's going to happen with that?
I think they're going to split it. I think tonight is going to be a straight Vegas opening. That's just my opinion. I don't have any insight or anything on that. I think it's going to be a straight up Vegas. It's going to be lights and smoke and just, we're back in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas is going to try to blow the roof off that place. But I do also think they're going to probably split it 50-50 and do some of those openings like they did last year, like we've done at the CNFR. Those heartfelt, really the heart and soul of the Western industry openings that were great last year. So I think we're going to see it split probably down the middle. But I think tonight, being back in Vegas after being gone for a year, I think it's going to be a straight up, just like say, let's tear the roof off this place and just fill this place up with excitement and get the week off rolling right. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's hear your predictions.
All right, well, bareback riding. I mean, you've got in the top 5, you've got the last 5 world title holders. You've got Casey Fields from last year, Clayton Bigelow from 19. You got Tim O'Connell 3 years before that. I think this is where Jim Boy comes in on the bareback riding because he's a little more versed on the horses. I think I'm going to go with Casey Field on Little Red Hawk of Flying U Rodeo to win the round tonight. I think he's going to try to go back, back to back and get another gold buckle. I see him winning the round tonight. And mind you, my predictions may change as the week goes on, but I just think it's going to be a dogfight from 1 to 15 in the bareback riding. All these guys, to be here have got talent. You got R.C. Lanningham coming off a hot end of the year where he won Pendleton, got him qualified for his 3rd NFR after being out with a few years with some injuries. But I'm going to take Casey Field to win the round tonight in the bareback riding. I just think he's, it's Vegas. He's been electric in Vegas, but also don't sleep on Tim O'Connell. Last year it came down to the last ride of the NFR to crown your world champion where Casey got Tim, and Tim's coming back with a vengeance, and he's been out for a month with injuries. and he's healed up. He's ready to go. So I think it's just going to be a battle all the way to the end. I'm going to, like I say, Casey Fields my pick for the night, but you can take anybody in the top 5, those top 5, Tilden, Tim O'Connell, Clayton Bigelow, Caleb Bennett. I think it's anybody's game, but I'm picking Casey to win the round tonight.
Perfect. All right, just keep rolling.
All right, steer wrestling. I mean, this is a loaded field. You get Tyler Pearson, your 2017 world champion, who's back after not qualifying last year to Arlington. Stockton Graves, you know what? He's back. He's been missed the finals a few years. But my pick for round 1, I'm going with Tyler Wegespack. Your 2-time world champion coming in at 6th. Once again, it's also my pro fantasy team, so I'm just really trying to set the standard. But I think Tyler's coming in with a mission to get another gold buckle. He's always in contention every year. I think in round number 1, he's going to lay down the gauntlet and make those guys come after him. So I'm going to take Wegespack in round number 1.
Well, so the steer wrestling is also unique in that there's some new faces, or rather some faces that are not here this year.
Right.
And I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see. Blake Knowles has qualified for I don't even know how many years. And there's just some new faces. So I feel like that's going to come into play, whether or not they're going to show up and perform. Rookie year, I mean, maybe.
It's going to be interesting. Like I say, Blake Knowles isn't there. Ty Erickson, your 2019 world champion. He's just out of it 2 years in a row. Last year's world champion, Jacob Edler, he didn't qualify this year. So, there's you're looking through this, like I say, I'm looking through this list. Stockton's back, for some Cody Devers. Dirk Kavner. Dirk's hazed there quite a few times for guys. Dirk's been right on the cusp of making the NFR the last few years, had a breakthrough year this year. I remember Dirk from the college finals. He is a great young man. I'm excited to see him there. And we'll see how he does it. He's been in the building before hazing. Now he gets to go on the other side and go, shoot at 26,000 plus a night.
Yeah.
Tristan Martin, a college champion. Tristan comes from a long line of, bulldogging family down there in Louisiana. Casey Martin's nephew. This kid is the real deal. So let's see what happens when he backs in the box for his first time, because, and I've seen this personally and talked to it when I've talked to Luke, no matter how well you prepare yourself for it, and it doesn't matter how many times you qualify, that first run, your adrenaline is rolling, because this is what you work all year for. And so it's being able to harness that and take that adrenaline and that emotion and harness it and utilize it. So it's going to be impressive to see, like I say, once these guys get in there and see how round 1 kicks off for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I would agree. I mean, I think once you get the round 1 jitters, I mean, I feel like you're still nervous, but at least it's just not as fresh.
It's just like, okay, I've run 1. I get in here, the crowd, now it's just go do my job. I got through the first round, go do my job. Because I think I've been watching a lot of stuff the last 2 days on Instagram, on Facebook, of them breaking into steers, breaking into calves, doing this and that. And you watch these guys roping and their horses, everything's working. But that's with just, there's no crowd. There's no
crowd, there's no nerves.
It's just another practice run. But we all know, we've all been there. We've all made 10 NFR runs back to back in the practice pen.
Oh yeah.
Ourselves, because I mean it's easy. But now when you add the crowd, you add the music, you add all that, you get a little tighter. Your horse gets a little tighter. The animals you're competing on, your steers, your calves, it throws everything off, not off, but it changes just a little bit, and you've got to be able to read and react to it. So we'll know a lot more, like I say, come tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, next.
Team roping. Let's see. I got my handy dandy notes here. I tell you what, you want to talk about a loaded field. I mean, you got Dustin Egesquiza, you've got Travis Graves, Eric Rogers, Peyton Bray. I'm going to go with round 1. I think it's going to be Caleb Driggers and Junior Noguera. I believe they are going to be on a mission. Junior wants a world title buckle in the team roping. He's got the all-around buckle from 16, but he wants a team roping buckle, and Caleb's right there with him. I think they're gonna go out and make a statement again tonight. Let these guys know, hey, we're here. We're not backing off, because there's no back off in those two. I predict them to win round one, but they're gonna have to go and reel in the hottest team this summer in Egaskiza and Travis Grace. Those guys were winning. I mean, it seemed like from last winter at the jackpots, they were winning 50,000, 30,000 a pop. So I think this team open is going to be outstanding. Just watching the steers being broke in, the steers looked outstanding. So it'll be fun watching. But then you've got the 2019 world champion healer Wesley Thorpe and Cody Snow. They're back together again this year. Last time they were in the Thomas and Mack, they were your average champions. They walked out of Thomas and Mack as your average champions, and Wesley was your world champion healer. So it's that team roping is such a crapshoot, because you stub your toe just a little bit, and then you can make you spiral real fast, and it's hard to correct the ship. But
it's hard to bounce back.
It is because you start pushing, and we all know the more you push, the harder it gets. The tighter you get, the tighter your horse gets. But I just think they're going to crack out tonight. Caleb and Junior, they're going to be probably, I'm going to say 4-2, win the round, and set the foundation to try to get their first gold buckle on their belts.
Well, and I would add, you talk about the format of the NFR in itself is completely different than what these cowboys and cowgirls face anywhere else, and including the high school finals and the college finals. College finals, you've got three rounds and a short go. Like that's completely different than having to put 10 solid runs together.
And 10 solid runs, and the world title, when it's coming in for the world title, their go rounds are paying almost 27,000. That's going to factor in. So you want that 69,000 at the end,
right?
But you also know to get there, you're going to have to place in rounds and win go rounds. So it's all layered. It's such a psychological game. It's not just, like you say, it's just not another rodeo. You've got to figure out the best way for you to place in go rounds, get some of that go round money, and give yourself a shot at the big payday after 10 days. And like I say, to hold that together for 10 days plus your obligations to your sponsors,
yes,
your autograph signings, there's so much more to it than just showing up in rodeo.
Interviews on the NFR Hangover. I mean, all the important things too.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, I think also you mentioned, and so many years we see the team roping kind of just completely fall apart. And oftentimes those guys, it's really hard. I mean, you already mentioned it. If they do bad, or if they have a first out, a bad out in the first go, it can be difficult for them to come back around and make 8 solid runs or 9 solid runs. And I think this is where, at this level, we've talked about this before on this platform, at this level, everybody's talented. There's no question on who is a good roper or who has a great barrel horse. Like, everybody's talented. But at this level, and especially this platform, it comes down to the mental game.
That's what it is.
Can you control your anxiety, your adrenaline when you back in the box? Can you put that bad run aside and make a good second go, third go, or wherever you are in the rounds? But it's so much a mental game at this stage.
Well, exactly. That's what it is. It's going to be, you're going to stub your toe over the 10 days. It just depends on how bad you stub your toe, and can you overcome it? Can you overcome a broken barrier? Or we've seen the average 1-on-9 head before in the team roping. That's Cody Snow and Wesley Thorpe. They missed the steer in 2019 and still won the average. So it's going to be overcoming that and making sure that you stay in your game plan, mentally stay hooked, and not. But we've all seen it. We've all done it where you start pushing. Okay, you get a little tighter. You get a little tighter. And then if you haven't placed, say you're out of the average and you haven't placed and you're down to the last 3 rounds and you've won nothing, now you're pushing harder because you're thinking, my chances at 27,000 a night, I had 10, now I've got 3. It's just, and it's not just the team roping; it's in all events. You see those guys
Right.
start pushing and getting tighter. So
Right.
it'll be interesting. And we're back in the Thomas and Mack. You've got header's got 3 swings, and the heeler's got 2 jumps to the fence, and horsemanship is going to be huge. So
Yeah. Family life, huh?
But yeah, that's where it's going to be. Is they're going to be it's going to be all about execution, I guess, is the bottom line in the team roping, and knowing, hey, I've got a steer that the best they've been on this steer was stronger in when we broke him in. I'm not going to be 3-9 if 3-9's winning the round. I'm going to be 4-5 on him and going and utilizing, and it's in all of it, utilizing the stock that you've got. And that's where Jim Boy would be great in the rough stock, because he knows these rough stock horses a lot better than I do. And Casey Fields may not have a horse that he can be 89 points on tonight. I don't know. I went to look it up yesterday. I really did. I went to do my homework, and the PRCA website didn't help me out. I was trying to find some, history
some stats on the horse. Yeah.
I couldn't find what I was looking for.
I mean, that's a really good point too. I mean, these guys, the practice runs on the cattle, on the livestock is going to be crucial, because especially for tonight, once we get down to like 4, 5, 5th round, those guys can look back and see what that steer did in the previous round. But you make a good point. I mean, these guys aren't always going to be gunning for a win, and it depends on the cattle. You do have to, there comes to be a point where you have to be strategic.
Yeah, you've got to play the odds, and it depends on where these guys, where you wind up in a round. We've seen legs place in rounds, at the finals for 4,000 or 5,000, and you may be at the bottom and 3-4s winning the round, but second place is 5-2. Well, you've got one they haven't been faster than 4-9 on. Don't try to be 3-4 on it. Go be 4-2, 4-3, 4-4. Yep. Win
just
second,
make a businessman's run.
Yeah, businessman's run, 17,000, and that's, like I say. But it's really easy for us to say that, sitting here when you back in and everything's pumping, and you want to get on that stage at South Point and get that go round buckle and be in there. But it's the ones that execute, go in with a game plan, do their job, and execute are the ones that are going to walk out with the most money and pretty much will be your world champion when it's all said and done.
Yeah, for sure. All right, roll on.
All right, saddle bronc riding. Let me find it here. Like I said, I got notes strung out all over.
Well, and I would also add, for those of you guys that are watching live, put your predictions down. Let's have a conversation about that. Who do you guys think is going to perform? Not just in round 1. I mean, let's not talk about just round 1. I am not making predictions. Do y'all notice this? I am just here to watch. I put my foot in my mouth enough. I don't need to do it again. I'm just here to watch. But if you guys are watching, get your predictions out there. Let's have a conversation about it. Who do you think in these events is going to step up? Who should we be looking at? Interaction is welcome. All right. Did I give you enough time to get your notes?
Oh, you're perfect. Yeah. So saddle bronc riding, we got, Stetson Wright is coming in, your all-around champion. Ryder, your 2-time world champions, coming in second. I mean, you've got Cody DeMoss. I mean, how many times has Cody been runner-up to the world? You'd love to see him strap on a gold buckle. I mean, Wade Sundell is back after that near fatal accident that he had, at San Juan Capistrano a couple years ago. It's Spencer Wright's back. He's back again. Your world champion from 2014. Wyatt Casper, last year's runner-up. I mean, this is a loaded saddle bronc riding field. And round number 1,
the names.
I'm going to go with Wade Sundell and Sioux City Sue, Mo Better Rodeo. I think Wade is excited to be back at the NFR in Las Vegas, and he is electric, and that's just my pick. Also, disclaimer, he's on my pro fantasy team. So it's kind of I've got a personal interest in this. So lot of these
there's
teams
something to be said. There's something to be said about manifesting what you want to happen. Like just manifest it. Put it out there. I'm down with that. So a couple of things that I want to point out. Case Thompson, did not qualify. He came in number 16. I'm looking at the numbers. It's unbelievable how close some of these numbers are. Spencer Wright came in at 15 with $74,061.39. Case Thompson is at $73,972.46. Super close. I know that the Johnson boys from Casper were making a push there at the end to qualify in the team roping. I bring up Case Thompson because he rode saddle bronc for Casper College and did amazingly well for them. And so, I mean, God, talk about a crying hole. And by that little amount, I would just say, I just want to let you guys know that you're still champions in my book, and, watch for those names because it's coming.
Those guys are coming. They're going to be here. It's well, that's how talented the saddle bronc riding is in the rough stock riding. I know our numbers are lower in the bareback riding. We don't have as many guys in the bareback riding, but still the top 50, the top 25,
are
top
tough.
30. I mean, they're all tough. They're all, well, these guys have, I think what we're seeing is a shift. And this is, I think, come a lot from the PBR too. And from the Brazilians of I don't want to say gym rats because it's always thrown out there, but these are guys that they're taking care of their bodies. They're going to the gym. They're working out. This is their job. This isn't just something they do for fun. And they're realizing their body is their tool to make money. And these guys are taking care of themselves. And from 1 to 30, the ones that are putting in the work, getting the rest, not going out and partying, and that might be what you're seeing the difference. Some of these younger guys are learning that now. A tweak here, a tweak there might have made the difference in me making my first NFR. They go and make that adjustment next year, and they're in. So,
boom. Yeah.
But this saddle bronc riding, like I say, it's great. Cody DeMoss, Spencer Wright, Wade Sundell, kind of I want to say your old guard. They're still qualifying. But then you've got Spencer. Yeah.
Old guard.
And then you've got Ryder and Stetson. I mean, Stetson's coming in. He's got a shot at 2 more gold buckles. I mean, 3 in the bull riding too, but 2 more and he's got a shot at his first saddle bronc riding gold buckle. But I don't think his older brother's gonna just kind of hand it to him. It's gonna be a battle. But Brody Kress, he is the last few years has been right there on the cusp. Zeke Thurston. It's just in Wyatt Casper coming in with 84,000. He's about 109,000 behind, but that is 4 rounds. You tap off and win 4 rounds, that's 100,000. You're in the hunt for that world title. If somebody up top stubs their toe. So there's so much money available in Vegas right now that your world title is going to be determined after 10 days, and whoever taps off and has the best finals.
So we do have some comments here. Craig Carson also says Sundell. Kendall Locke said that they have won the round on that horse that Wade has the last 2 or 3 years. So that might be a pretty good bet.
Well, and like I say, when I was looking through yesterday, going through my notes, I'm like, oh yeah, that all right. I'm like, all I want for my pro fantasy team, and this is me being selfish again, is I would just like to place one time in the top 100 of a go round or top whatever in the go round. Because no matter, even if I won the whole deal, I don't think I'd ever get my money back for how bad I picked my teams in the past.
Well, okay, let's talk about that, because I got a message from my brother last night wanting to know if we had our fantasy team set up. So I don't do a fantasy team, but I know that you guys do. So I guess we're going to totally give them a plug. But when did this fantasy team even start? Where did this come from? Well, I know where it came from, but when did it start?
It's been going on. I mean, it's got to be, I think we've got to be close to 10 years now, I think. I'm pretty sure. And my same deal. The first year, I'm not doing this. This is, I'm not going to get into this. Well, then my older daughter, at the time, she was 12 or 13. We're doing it, Dad. So we built a team and we just have fun with it. We actually took the format and we did a family team too, for $1 a night. We used to do that for a while too. And then it got too much of a headache to see whose team plays. But now my youngest daughter, she's 14. And I mean, Charlotte, I say I let her pick the team, but she gave me all the let's go through it.
She told you who?
Put the team together. Yeah, she's like, let's do it. Here we go. And so we built the team, and the only thing she said is we got to the barrel race, we're taking Haley. I'm like, us and everybody else is taking Haley. But the funny thing is that left us with $70,000, for our bull rider. And I'm just like, well, this and that. And I really want, I'm drawing a blank now, but I've got it right here. Where's it?
Well,
I said, I really want Kai
that.
Hamilton, and Kai Hamilton was $70,000, what it cost. I mean, you hit it on the head. So, it's serendipitous. It was supposed to be.
That's solid.
It is what it is.
Listen, he was my pick for last year. I did only because he was in Casper for the PBR last October, and I got to do an interview with him. Super nice, super polite. Like that wins me over. I want you to win the world because you were nice to me.
That young man, I talked to his college coach yesterday, CJ Aragon.
Yeah.
I said, "How's Kai?" He goes, "You know what? He's feeling good. He's ready, and he's ready to just go do his job. And that's what he's got to do is go do his job, and he's going to let the chips fall where they may." And he's excited. So that, like I say, it was serendipitous. I picked.
You got him.
My daughters kind of led the charge, and it just wound up like, all right, Kai Hamilton, we got 70,000. There it is. So
boom.
We'll see how it all plays out after 10 days, but it's just a fun, and it's a way to get the fans interacting with everybody and with the rodeo. And
we did that one year at the college finals, several years ago. It was actually in 2000 when I qualified for the barrel race, and my family, we were up in the audience, and we would draw we're tight, but we would draw our our person for that night. Right. And it was like $10 to get in. But I mean, that's where it stems from, because then it just creates a little bit more excitement. If you don't really have have a dog in the hunt, then you can pick one, and then that's who you're cheering for.
Well, like I said, that it gives that vested interest. You're not just a spectator. You're pulling for that cowboy, that cowgirl, that team, because hey, I put up $10. I put up, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
There's a prize line on. We did a pro fantasy because you can do your own leagues. I did one about 2 years ago. We got 10 teams in, and I didn't win the buckle.
Oh my gosh! Really that's what we should do. We should have an NFR Hangover league.
We need to do. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would
next year. We just keep adding more things. Monty Turley says, "Can't wait till Court Shear gets back out there."
I tell you what, that's one name that is missing, and I love watching Court ride. Ever since I was a coach and saw him at the college finals, and tried to get him to lead Jim Boy and come out to the West Coast, and Jim Boy wasn't happy about it. But Court is one of the. I mean, I love watching him ride, and he has been missed, and it'll be interesting. If he cracks back out full time, he will probably take a spot in the top 15. When he's ready to, if that's what he wants to do.
So I'm going to let you roll on. We have a comment from CJ, but I'm going to save it for when we start talking about the bull riding.
Okay, perfect. Well, tie down roping. Now you want to talk about loaded from top to bottom. Shane Hanchy has had an outstanding year, 175,000. Weston Hughes, 2-time qualifier, 140,000. So Shane's got what, $35,000 lead, about a round and a half. Shad Mayfield, third NFR qualification in 3 years. He was your last year's world title winner. But I think Shad's ready to have a breakout finals. He's not had a great finals either the 2 years he's qualified. He had a big enough lead last year. He had a decent finals, but he hasn't had a breakout NFR yet. I think it's about time it's going to happen. But then you got Caleb Schmidt, your 2-time world champion. He's back in the top 4. Tuff Cooper, he's 5th. Marcos Costa returns to the Thompson Mac after he won the world title in 2017. He had knee surgery. He hasn't been to the finals in 3 years. He's back. He's ready to come back and try to stamp his name on another gold buckle. Ty Harris, another young gun. This is his 3rd trip to the finals. Marty Yates coming in at 9th. Marty's due for a gold buckle. He's that gunslinger mentality. It's just going to be, like I say, from top to bottom. Your 2019 world champion Haven Medjid, he's coming in at 11th. That's who I got on my fantasy team. I mean, Taylor Santos back to he didn't make the finals last year, made it 19, and then my fan favorite John Dausch. I got to know John back at the college finals when I was coaching. You want to talk about one of the nicest young men in the world? been working really hard. Has been on the cusp of making the finals a couple of times. I'm excited to see him there. I think he's going to have a strong, great finals. And then you got Hunter Heron, who's after that hip surgery went and had a stellar finals last year, won 142,000 last year at the NFR, and it's a loaded field from top to bottom. But my pick in round number 1, I'm going to go with Marty Yates. I think if he wants to get in the world title hunt, he's got to do it now, and he's going to be coming. He brings a big loop and comes with it every time, and I think he's going to win round number 1. That's my prediction for tonight.
Well, and I would not have known this. I enjoy the calf roping a lot. I actually got to meet John at the Central Wyoming Fair and Rodeo a couple of years ago, right when I kind of started Bullfrog Creatives, but super, super nice guy. It's really fun to see. Well, just like you said, you got to know him at the college finals. It's really fun to see these cowboys and cowgirls kind of move up the ranks. And also, like, just talking about them, it kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, those people that were competing in the NFR that I was watching when I was competing, like, they were my superstars. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And to see them and hear their backstories, which is what Bullfrog Creatives has always been about, is kind of the behind the scenes and outside the arena stuff. And so to hear those stories about cowboys at this level, I love it. I love it because it just makes it, I mean, they're all human. They all put their pants on the same way we do. And they're just really good at what they do. And so it's just super fun to see that. And I would also add, I did see something somewhere. I don't know if it was Wrangler Facebook page that posted it out, but there are 3 cowboys this year. I kind of don't even want to say this because I feel like in the rodeo industry in the Western world, we don't make these distinctions. And there are 3 Black cowboys that have qualified for the NFR. And I know that it's the first time that there have been. And I think when Fred Whitfield came to the court and came and kind of kicked everybody's butt, that was also an eye opener for some people. And I think it's just really exciting. And it shows how diverse this industry really is.
Oh, I agree 100%. I know you've got Shad, you've got Corey Solomon, you've got John, and I truly believe the Western industry, there is no distinction. To me, they are just great cowboys. They are great young men, great cowboys. I've never personally met Shad, but I know Corey and John through college rodeo. Corey Solomon should have been a 2-time college champion and just had bad luck. Had calf get up on him.
I remember that.
Twice in the 3rd round. He's running. This young man was by far the best calf roper entered, and it wasn't like he put a rap in a hood or anything, just had bad luck twice at the college finals. So but just the salt of the earth, a great young man. John, got to know him, same deal when I was coaching, I'll be at the college finals there. He got to know my daughter, Kirsten, and here's a cool story. Reno 2019, my daughter texted me, "Hey, where are you at?" And I was at the Silver Legacy getting ready to go have dinner. She goes, "Hey, John, Dash wants to come say hi. He hasn't seen you since the college finals a couple years ago." He came and found me, and it was cool because here's a young man that I know is going to be a superstar that came out just to say hi because of the connection we had at the college finals. So it's exciting to see him there. It's exciting to see where the tie down roping is heading. These guys are getting faster, and it's just,
oh my goodness,
every day it's just impressive.
You think that there are no new things to learn, and like we're doing it as fast as we can right now, but you know that it's just going to keep progressing. Like something else is going to change, and it's going to speed up that game so much more.
Well, I think it's all these events. It's truly about these athletes, the animal athletes, but also the rodeo athletes. They're learning how to take care of themselves. They're putting the time in. It's not just going to the practice pen, roping calves, roping steers, running bulldog and steers, getting on bareback horses. It's going to the gym. It's nutrition. It's supplements. It's if I can shave off 1/100 of a second, that may be the difference of me making the NFR or not, me winning a gold buckle or not. So it's evolved so far, just like everything in rodeo. we're on a precipice of it just taking another leap forward, I think, and it's amazing to see what the time and effort and the financial commitment these cowboys and cowgirls put into their animals and their self and their bodies and their rigs and the travel. So it's like,
well, and I'm going to give a little plug out to Logan Corbett. He is a former college coach, was riding broncs or barebacks, I believe, but he actually has a program that is specific to the healthier lifestyle. Like that's what he's doing now is personal training and helping these cowboys and cowgirls. I think mostly cowboys, but cowgirls also to stay in shape and how to strengthen the muscles that they're specifically using for these events. I mean, that's the big difference. And I will 100% agree. You already mentioned it earlier. They're not only extending their careers in rodeo by doing this, but they're stepping up the game so much more. I think one of the first cowboys that we really saw do it was Kelly Timmerman. And because he brought he didn't high school rodeo and he college rodeo, but I think it was kind of late, but he was an athlete in high school, straight up athlete. He was a wrestler, but that's where his mindset came. And so he brought that mindset to rodeo. And I don't know if he was the one that brought it, but I know he was one of the early kind of adopters to bring that athlete view to this sport.
I think and I remember when Kelly won his world title, and everything, and talking to, because I think it was 2004, the year Luke won his first gold buckle. We got to talking, and Luke goes, he just, he qualified. He just kind of not that he came out of nowhere, but here was this guy that just took care of. He was always working out, going to the gym, taking care of himself, and that's evolved from the rough stock, from bareback riding, which bull riding and bareback riding are the two most, harder on your body than anything. So you need to make sure you're in the best shape possible. But you've watched it just look at the steer wrestlers now.
It's progressed.
It's progressed, and the tie down ropers, and I mean core strength in all the events is huge. So getting in the gym, putting that time.
Steer wrestling is unique too because it's always been coined the big man's event, and clearly they're still big dudes, but I think it's changed a little bit. They're not just big, they're in shape, they're muscular, they're using more of their core rather than just their body weight.
It's not just grip it and rip it. They're using I don't want to use the word finesse, but they're using technique. They're using like I say, it's not just hit, go to the nose and flick, they're shaping steers up. They're using their body, they're utilizing all their body instead of just, I'm going to grab their head and twist.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
It's a big man's event, but it's also become, you fortunately I've got to watch the evolution of, there's lots of technique. And I've got to watch the evolution of bulldogging firsthand with my brother. And Tandy Freeman was the one that told me Luke was prototype A. You took the technique of John W. Jones.
Stereotypical steer wrestler.
Well, you took the technique of John W. Jones Jr. and you took the size of Steve Duhon, and the first incarnation is Luke. Well, now you look Ty Erickson, Tyler Wagespack, Tyler Pearson. They're all evolution of, you can just go down the evolution of steer wrestlers to where they're getting they're big, strong, but their technique, it's and that's where you see it the most. I think the evolution of the hybrids of 2.0, 3.0 versions of the cowboys getting bigger, faster, stronger, smarter.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I'm just checking Facebook to make sure we're good.
Perfect.
So let's roll on. What do we have next?
All right, it's barrel racing time. Who can bet against Haley and sister?
This horse is just unreal.
I remember the first time that I saw her was when she won the American, the first time on the American. And then she has her at the college finals that year and wins the college finals. And then it's just been a whirlwind since then. That mare is unreal. But it's like we talked about before we started. Emily Beisel on Chongo, that horse likes it, Thomas and Mack. And I love, Emily last year, when she did the rubber band deal and some people were calling her out, she's like, it's more for me than anything else.
Yeah.
It just, I love Emily's, I love her
Attitude.
attitude. I mean, anybody that puts up a gym boy is awesome anyway. So,
right. Kudos to
but
her. And I will also
yeah,
add, I had a lot of interaction with her dad throughout the past year, with just some things that I would post about my kids. And I mentioned something about, saying, no, we're not going to go do that. We're not going to go to that rodeo. We're going to do, and kind of drawn some boundaries for my own kids. And he reached out to me and kind of told me a little bit about her story, and they didn't really go that hard. And when she finally was able to go and make that commitment, was not, I mean, it was later in life and later than what we're seeing now. Kids start, there's Vegas toughest here in town, in Vegas,
right.
And it's just really interesting. It's fun to see that success that didn't happen and didn't start at 5, or, you see these families that are going hard at such a young age, and to be able to kind of get that, I don't know, confirmation from him kind of reinforced my parenting, I'll say. But super, super great family. And because of that, I'm team Emily all the way.
Oh no, and like I say, I just loved when you guys had her on last year and just
Yeah.
watching her at the finals, and just she just seems like it's just her personality is awesome. And what's funny is we're talking about the Vegas toughest. So this year we talked to my daughter, my 14-year-old, was like, hey, we'll jackpot, we'll junior rodeo, and we'll try to qualify for Vegas, or we can junior rodeo our local associations, and we can high school rodeo. But we got to pick. We can't do it all. There's just no.
Yeah.
There's no way. And first and foremost, it was like, we're doing the Vegas qualifiers. We're not high school rodeoing. But after we got back from junior high nationals in Iowa, she had so much fun. And this is what I love, the friendship she made. It wasn't just about the competition. She wanted a high school rodeo. She would take going to less rodeos, or not trying to qualify for Vegas and not go this year for that stuff, to be able to go to the district rodeos and qualify for state and try to qualify for nationals because of the friendship she made. So that was really cool. That it's like it made me reinforce. Okay, I'm parenting right, and I don't take it away.
We need all the help we can get.
Yes.
Well, so I mean, without, I don't want to not talk about all of the other women, because clearly there's some amazing horses. I mean, Donna Rule is back this year. Remember, she couldn't compete last year because she had tested positive. Yep. So she is back. Let's see. I'm looking through this. Oh, I would totally be fired from my job and lose all my Wyoming followers if I did not mention Amanda Welsh from Gillette, Wyoming. I've also followed her career. I think it's super amazing. I mean, listen, hometown. She's not in Casper, but she's in Wyoming, so we'll claim her. Hometown cowgirl. Obviously, I want to see her do well. Looking down here, Brittany Tanazi, Stevie Hillman. I know. Oh my goodness, let's talk about Lisa Lockhart. So,
I mean, and she's not even bringing Louis.
She's not even bringing him.
And
that's I get it, but that almost breaks my heart.
You almost, and I mean, you don't want her having to sit out there for 12, 15 days if she's not riding him, but you just want him to be there.
Ride him in the grand entry.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you saw it yesterday on Instagram, Jade Corkill. It was after the back number ceremony, and he does an Instagram deal, and he's talking to Lisa. He goes, remember that time? Do you see that? He goes, remember that time you had me hold Louis? Well, you had to go do an interview? She goes, yeah. And he goes, well, I didn't want to tell you, it was like 5 years ago, but I got on him just to say I got on him. Then I got off real quick. And
just so I can say,
just to say that I got to sit on Louis. And Lisa goes, well, did you get a picture? She goes, no, I didn't want, I just did it real quick. Nobody was around. But that horse has been a staple. You can go through the list of horses, Scamper,
Bozo,
Louis. And the only thing Louis doesn't have on his resume is a gold buckle, but that does not take away from the powerhouse he's been for 15 years? I mean, American champion multiple times. I mean, won every major rodeo. Just so much fun to watch, and watch Lisa ride him. And it's exciting that she's back again this year. I mean, I know she made the big jump from 17th to 14th the last 2 weeks of the year. That was awesome to have her back because, we all say this, the NFR wouldn't be the same without having Lisa there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's see. Here we go. I'm going to throw this one up here. Dayla says, that's what's so great about rodeo, family and friends, and the support. There's nothing better. That is so true. And Dayla, I will say one of the main reasons that this platform has been successful is because of the support of my rodeo family. So I 100%. I mean, so let's see. Who are you calling for tonight? Are you going with Haley?
I'm going to go with Haley. I just think sister, she ran so well last year at Arlington, but you get that crowd and that excitement. I just see her firing tonight and winning the round. I just, eventually every great horse, every great athlete in any sport, they lose a step, but I just don't see it happening with Sister right now. I think this horse is still ascending and has not peaked yet. That's just my personal opinion.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right, let's bring it. I'm going to show what CJ said.
All right.
So CJ says Kai has a bull that has not been ridden. So CJ's making a prediction. He will ride him. Kai will ride him tonight.
CJ yesterday. I think he's going to ride him. I think Kai has got something to prove. He had a great finals last year, and there towards the end of the week, had bucked off a couple that cost him a gold buckle.
It did.
He started out the year, was winning, got hurt, broke his hip, and had surgery right after the American, and didn't start back till the 4th of July. Actually, it was after the 4th of July and won $30,000. And just in like a 10-day stretch, CJ said, and then goes on and just wins Cheyenne. And just, this young man, I haven't met him personally, just know CJ, know him through CJ, and he's got his head on right. CJ was telling me, after the back number ceremony, a lot of the bull riders want to go out and have, drink and party. And Kai's like, no, I'm going to go back to the room. And some of them gave him hell, but he's got a plan. He's got a goal, and he's going to execute it. And I'm excited to see him back at the NFR, especially, say you had a broken hip and had surgery in March or February, and you're coming in at number 9. That's one heck of a comeback in 1 year. So that's exciting. But tell me this. So I know when they hit Viva Las Vegas this year, the roof is going to blow off Thomas and Mack.
Yes.
What's it going to do when they play Bad to the Bone for JB Mooney?
That is exactly who I was going to bring up next. How has he not been to the NFR?
I think it was the non-competition clause when the PBR, for a long time, you couldn't compete in both.
You couldn't do both. Okay.
You couldn't do both. And so I think that had a lot to do with it.
It's going to blow up.
It's going to be that place is going to come uncorked. That roof is literally.
Well, I mean, he's built his, I guess, influencer status, so to speak. Like, he's built his reputation through PBR, and now to have it come into the NFR, it's going to be. He's got a following, for crying out loud.
Oh, he's bringing new fans into rodeo. Fans that maybe just watch bull riding, they're going to watch other events because they want to see their man JB Mooney. They want to see what he gets done.
Which is why it's not us against them. Flint Rasmussen talks about this all the time. It is not PBR against NFR or PBR against PRCA, because both organizations are building the industry as a whole. You're going to get bull riding fans now coming to the NFR and create rodeo fans. They are hand in hand together. It's so awesome now.
Well, and I think the PBR and the PRCA have built a relationship, and I'm going to give Randy Bernard and the American credit for that, because they bridged that gap and they brought it together, and I think that's great, and it's going to be exciting to watch JB there. But I think this is JB is going to. I think he's going to have a great finals. I think it's going to be exciting. But I also think this is Sage Kinsey's. This is his comeback year. He was not happy how last year ended. I know he was hurt, and he was trying to go 7 for 7. He's shooting Donnie Gay's record of 8. He wants 9. He wanted to do it consecutively. That's out the window. But he Look at the year he's had, 264,000. He's got $60,000 lead. That's like I say, that's roughly 2 go rounds over Stetson. So that's not insurmountable. But I think Sage is going to step up. I've got it here. Let's see what he's got tonight. Sage Kimsey, where's it at here? He's got Grand Slam, a Big Raptor Rodeo. Don't know a lot about that bull. But I have a feeling he's going to stick it on him and he's going to place in the top 4. Looking through here, I'm going to go out on a limb. Kai Hamilton's got Rip unridden. I think he's going to win the round. He's going to ride it. He's going to ride him tonight. Once again, manifesting it. I'm putting it out there. But I think we're going to see some amazing bull riding. You've got, Boudreaux Campbell,
yeah.
2 years ago or last year wins the PBR finals. I picked him to win the average at the NFR because he's just coming off PBR finals and it has just an awful NFR. I think he rebounds this year. Yes, Clayton Sellers making his 3rd trip to the NFR and the bull riding, coming in number 2. 147. He's 123,000 behind, or 117,000 behind Sage at first. But like I say, no lead is insurmountable. If a guy gets on a roll and you go back-to-back round wins, that's almost 60,000 or 50-some thousand right there. Nothing is insurmountable once you get to Vegas, and it's amazing what Las Vegas Events has done with the money they've added. This is where these guys make their money for the year.
Yes.
We both know enough people in the
credit
industry.
Cards that they've been running on all year.
Yep. This is where they cash in. This is where they have their chance to actually, put some money away, get ahead, and it's the bull riding is no different than any of these other events. It's a stacked field. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm going with Kai Hamilton for the round win tonight. But I think when it's all said and done, Sage is going to be your world title winner. But then again, like I say, Stetson Wright has a chance to go for the Triple Crown. And we've only had 2 other people do it. Roy Cooper in the steer open, the calf open in the all around, and Trevor Brazil did it twice in the team open, tie down open all around, and the steer open, tie down, and the all around. So we could have a rough stock person do the Triple Crown, and win the all around Saddle Bronc and bulls. I think on the all around front, I think it's Stetson's. Nobody's going to get him. It's locked in. But he wants to strap on 2 more gold buckles. But his brother's going to give him a run in the Saddle Bronc riding. I think Sage is going to battle to the very end in the bull riding.
Well, that all of those sound like really good predictions. I did not write them down, which means I can't hold you to them.
Yes. Somebody did, I'm sure.
Somebody did. And of course, we could always go back and rewatch this too. But that's all right. True. I think the best part is the conversation. So there you go. This is when you know that like we're all kind of hometown production staff around here when your backdrop falls off the wall.
When your backdrop drops.
Yeah. Come on. Who did this? Where are my people? There are no people. It was me.
Production assistant. Well, I'll tell you what, Heidi, I am excited to be part of the team with you and Jim Boy this year. I thank you guys for having me on. This is the best morning show. It's better than, Kelly and what's his name, Ryan or whatever they have, or Hoda and Kathy Lee. This is actual, real talk, real people stuff. This is exciting. And this platform you and Jim Boy set up last year is great. I'm truly excited. And I think we're in for a great 10 days of rodeo, and it's going to be, we're back in the City of Lights, and we're back in Las Vegas. And once again, tip of the hat to Arlington for last year for stepping up with 90 days to be able to host the NFR and put on a great event. And I know Texas really, really wants the finals back, but I don't see Vegas letting it go. It's such, it went from being the deadest time in Las Vegas to its most lucrative 10 days. And
they're not going to lose that. I think they're going to do whatever they have to do to make it stay, for sure.
Yes.
I do know we've got kind of a what the heck was that? A Twilight theme going on now. We've got Team Vegas and Team Arlington in the rodeo fans. But again, Vegas is like, they've always stepped up. And like you said, they will continue to step up because they're not going to want to lose that. I'll just do a little wrap up. I want you guys to know, thank you so much for tuning in. I see we have about 20 live viewers through the whole thing. I don't know if they're coming and going, but thank you guys for tuning in. You can watch again. Obviously, it's on YouTube and on the Facebook page for Bullfrog Creatives. We do have lots of invitations out for people to be guests on the NFR Hangover. We're still waiting for some confirmations. I know we're going to have Garrett Yerrigan, who is the 2021 PRC Announcer of the Year, if I am correct. I think Jim Boy just texted me that this morning.
Yes, it is.
We're going to have him on to BS with us a little bit. We don't have a specific date, but we are working on some other people. I hate to call them out, but maybe it would make them say yes. Luke, I do.
Yeah.
I will call him out because, I mean, you're here and you're his brother. I kind of feel like I'm his sister at this point because I've given him so much crap.
That's perfect. Yeah,
so
call him out.
We hope that Luke will make time for us in his busy schedule. And then among other people, we've got some invitations out, but we promise no matter who we have, it will, of course, be the very least entertaining. Jim Boy is traveling today, will be with us the rest of the week, I believe, and from Vegas. So
we have boots on the ground in Vegas, and Jim Boy House. He's going to be our roving reporter. So we're going to.
Yes, I can't wait to see Jim Boy and, all of his things. He just brings so much to the table.
He does. It's awesome. We
love it. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you tomorrow morning, episode 2 for NFR Hangover. I'm gonna have to push a whole lot of buttons at the same time. So Tony, we'll catch you tomorrow morning. Have a good day.
All right, you too, Heidi. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Sorry, I got to push a lot of buttons, and again, my production staff is not quite where they should be. Again, want to give a special shout out to some of our sponsors and our partnerships that we have here on Bullfrog Creatives to help us do all the things that we do, not just NFR Hangover. The Purple Roan is a local boutique. You can go to the Purple Roan Facebook page and you can shop using Bullfrog 15 for 15% off. They have some great things, these earrings in particular. Of course, Cinch jeans and shirts. This shirt is a Cinch shirt. I do not have an affiliate link. I cannot give you a discount, but they do help us bring you wonderful content. And of course, Con Williams Art Studio. So make sure if you guys are in Vegas, you swing by there next week. We will have a conversation with them a little bit later on. And y'all, we will see you tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day.
Perfection almost looks easy. But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.